This is the Late Blooming Autistic. Today we're going to start talking about how to set sensory boundaries. While we're doing that, I'm going to be doing some coloring. I love to color. It relaxes me. And I think it'd be a great thing we could do together. If you have any crafts you like to do, please let me know in the comments. So to start setting sensory boundaries, there are things we can do to ask ourselves, is the light too bright? Do I feel overwhelmed by the bright lights in the grocery store? What about scents? Are the scents too strong? Is there a combination of scents, like more than one person wearing cologne and or perfume? And how would you plan to deal with such a situation? I know in my place of worship, personally, I bring a mask with me just in case there's too many scents going on that day. Also, I avoid certain retail stores that have layers and layers of scents. You know which ones I'm talking about. This one needs sharpened. Okay. So what about noise? Noise doesn't have to be loud to overwhelm us. It could be something constant, like the refrigerator humming. Ask yourself, is there a particular noise bothering me? This is where earbuds or headphones can be helpful. What about fabrics? Are there certain fabrics that bother you? Or what about the tags on the fabrics? Do they drive you crazy? I know I go crazy when my socks get wet. As soon as I step on even one little spot of water, I have to change them ASAP. Another thing that causes me overwhelm is when I start sweating. So I dress in layers. And that way I can take layers off as I start feeling warm. And that definitely helps. I also have to have access to air conditioning, especially since I've gotten older and I get hot flashes. Being near, if I'm outside, being close to the car, I can run to the car and then I can turn the air on. What about foods? Are there certain foods you can't eat because of taste or texture? Personally, I love food. There are only a couple things I can't eat, and that's overcooked lima beans. Actually, I avoid lima beans at all costs, if I can. Overcooked green peas. They're so dry and they taste like chalk. So when I was young, my mother often overcooked the green peas or the lima beans. And we ate them quite often. She wanted to make sure we ate healthy, so of course we had to eat them. No choice. We weren't allowed to add anything extra to eat them. No ketchup, no anything, no salt. It's like you ate what she gave you, and if you didn't eat, you starved. So, of course, now I do not eat green peas or lima beans at all. Also, out of curiosity, have you ever started a conversation with someone and they're so close to your face that you can feel their breath hitting you? I know that's happened to me. One time, I was in a conversation with somebody. They were so into the conversation that I would back up. You know, backing up's not a bad idea. Maybe they'll get the hint. This person did not get the hint. So I was backing up, and I wasn't trying hard not to be rude. And because, I didn't want to just push them, which I don't recommend that. But I kept backing up. I would back up. They'd keep talking. They moved forward. I back up. They kept talking. Moved forward. I backed up. They kept talking and moved forward. Well, then I hit my back hit the wall. And they're still talking to me and in my face. Oh boy. So at that point, I just had to walk around them. And they're still talking. This person was just not getting it. So make sure there's not a wall behind you if you do this. And I haven't figured out what quite to say in that type of situation yet. So that's something I'm still working on. What would you do in a situation? I mean, obviously in a situation like that, you're going to have to say something. But because I tend to be a people pleaser, that does seem to interfere with how I'm dealing with the situation, and that's something I got to work on by saying something kind. Possibly, I know my counselor told me that I could just politely say that I have boundary issues, and if they could just back off a little bit, I'd appreciate it. But if they don't get it, just walk away. That's what I wound up doing with this person. If you have any suggestions or comments, I deeply appreciate it. Alright, so what about interruptions? For example, I love to color. So I've been in the middle of coloring a tiny area on the page because, like you see here, there's some tiny areas, like these little circles here. And suppose you're coloring them and somebody bumps the desk or nudges you to the table, or maybe just comes up. I mean, I could be into my coloring, and they just tap me on the shoulder even and start talking to me. well, I get distracted. And if I put the pencils down, I'm not sure where I was or what I was doing at that point with the coloring. Well, so how have you reacted? Sometimes I start yelling or slamming my fist on the table. Other times I just stare at my project thinking, okay, the coloring line has been violated, and this person has just lost my trust. So, what do I do now? Sometimes I give them a look. I remember one time someone spilled water on my coloring project. There was a few of me and my friends were sitting around talking at the table, and I was coloring, and so somebody accidentally spilled water on it, one of my friends, and as soon as it happened, I kind of sighed, and then she just started apologizing profusely, and so that actually struck me as funny. So I just started laughing. I couldn't stop. I just could not stop laughing. It was pretty funny. So that, yeah, you had to be there, but it was pretty funny. Okay, the color I'm using now is called salmon pink. I was mixing two colors together with the yellows. So one is called sand and the other one is jasmine. I love to use the colored pencils. So anyway, in conclusion, I'd just like to say that don't be in a hurry to try and work on these sensory boundaries. Um, Take one step at a time. We're late bloomers, but we're beautiful people. So just take your time. And I really hope this information was helpful to you. Next time, I'm going to be talking about how we can identify time and energy boundaries. No, not identify, how we can set time and energy boundaries. So please subscribe below so you will know when the next video comes out. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope you have a wonderful day.